and Compass Promotions live stream. I hope everybody is doing well. It's the 1 a.m. live stream because I've got a lot of people who, like I said, like to be up late like me. A lot of people who watch the channel. Oh, sorry about that. I'm just on my channel right now. Actually, that was an old video. So let's give it a few minutes. Let's see who joins. Let's take a moment. Please hit that like and subscribe button, as I always say. These 1 a.m. streams is just a chance to talk about anything. However, we can revisit my subject from earlier today where I was talking about relevance and how Freemasonry needs to be relevant in order to be successful. Needs to both be relevant and communicate that relevance, both on a community level as well as on the individual membership level. But that's for later. For now, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Let me know how it's going. And if there is anything you guys want to talk about, we'll give it a few minutes. We'll see who joins. Also, I did discover, took a little while, however, the Grand Lodge of New York's statement on this, the 24th anniversary of September 11th. I was trying to read that earlier today. I couldn't find it. I read the article from the 20th anniversary, but maybe I will read that if people are interested in hearing about it. But for now, let's just wait to see who joins. And welcome. Let me just put something in the chat quickly. Please jump in the chat, say hello. We're here to chat about Freemasonry. Really, we're just hanging out. Let me know how it's going. If there's anything you guys want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry, we can talk about my earlier stream. I talked about relevance, and I also touched a little bit on 9/11, the fact that it is was the 24th anniversary of 9/11. Some Masonic comments that were released about that anniversary. I recently discovered the Grand Lodge of New York's post. Obviously, the Grand Lodge of Freaks and Masons of the City of New York is going to have a lot of thoughts on it, or definitely it was the Masonic body most affected by 9/11, and also collected a lot of charitable donations and money from Grand Lodges and Masons around the world to support those affected by 9/11. So let's give it a couple minutes and we'll see if anybody jumps on, and then I'll read the message from the Grand Master of New York on the anniversary of 9/11. By Most Worshipful Brother Stephen Adam Rubin. Welcome. If you're just joining us, jump in the chat, say hello, let me know how it's going. If there's anything you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry or anything else, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. By the way, The Long Walk has been released. I haven't seen it yet, but it is very, 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 very much on my list. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it very shortly. So I hope you guys will Let me know if there's anything you want to talk about. In the meantime, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Let me know how it's going. And as I said, if there's anything that you want to talk about. These streams are more just hangout streams as opposed to any specific topics. Susie Wheeler. Welcome, Susie. Have you been on the stream before? I'm not sure if I recognize your name from before. If this is your first time on the stream, welcome. I hope, as I said, you'll hit the like and subscribe button. There's a lot there in what you're saying. So when you talk about York Rite, and when you use the date 1717, I believe what you're referring to there is the formation of the Premier Grand Lodge of England, which later became the United Grand Lodge of England in 1813, if I recall that date correctly. The origin of Freemasonry, right? There is no such thing as Scottish Freemasonry per se. There's Scottish Rite Freemasonry, which actually is French, ironically enough. But Scottish Rite, York Rite, Templars, those terms get used interchangeably, right? Templars predate Freemasonry by about 500 years, give or take. 13, when was Black Friday? 1307, 1308, something to that effect. Right, Freemasonry itself, really, it's much less mysterious than you're saying. Really, it was derived or founded from stonemason guilds of the 15th and 14th centuries. And any connections to things like the Templars, anything to that extent, all kind of came through the formation of ritual work. 1306, that was close. I always thought 1308. And kind of if you were looking at it from the perspective of television, you'd say it was retconned in, right, with the creation of the rituals. But Freemason itself is not an invention of, but a descendant of stone masonry guilds, not of Essenes or religious or other types of sects, despite what some people may believe. Are you referring to Scottish Rite? Or you're talking about the Knights Templar? So, sorry, the Knights Templar is a separate, so the Knights Templar of 11, let me look up the exact date. I'm betting you know it already. 1136? Let me get the date. 1119. So the Knights Templar of 1119 obviously predates Freemasonry as founded in 1717 with the Premier Grand Lodge of England. I think it was 1119 actually, at least according to Google, which sounds about right to me. Right, it went from 1119 to the early 1300s. Freemasonry, the Premier Grand Lodge of England, formed in 1717. The extent to which there's a connection came after the fact through the formation of the York Rite and those degrees. But it was not as though the Knights Templar created Freemasonry, right? They're separate organizations, mythologically brought together through symbolism and through ritual. But they're separate groups. Having said that, I'm going to be watching potentially a video in this weekend discussing the connections between Freemasonry and the Knights Templar. That is one of the challenges of the format, right? And it's kind of one of the parts that's not always fair to the people in the chat. I get to talk, uninterrupted. You're kind of stuck within the short bursts. Well, I got to disagree with you on that one. Now, I don't know everything, obviously, about Freemasonry. However, again, there's about 400 years, give or take, separating the two, right? Or maybe, again, you could go the Regius manuscript, I suppose, the Halliwell, what was it called again? I'm going to double check the date of that. Even if you want by the Regius manuscript or the Halliwell manuscript, which I really like because it reminds me of Charmed, right? That's 1390. So even that, it's about 90 years separate from the Regius manuscript to the end of the Knights Templar. There is obviously, and I think I mentioned it before, um, um, the York Rite, which includes the Knights Templar degrees, but those degrees were formed after the Knights Templar had already ceased to exist. It was a way to connect the two, right? But the Regius manuscript, the oldest known Masonic document, um, it discusses obviously geometry being the foundation of Freemasonry, the foundation of our art. Freemasonry and geometry are inseparable, as we actually learn in our degrees. Um, it discusses 15 points for craftsmen. There is no third degree at that point. Um, but the Cathars and Essenes, those are religious sects, to my understanding, which again, Freemasonry borrowed a lot of traditions, borrowed a lot of symbolism from various different religious ideologies, philosophical. They took a lot from Stoicism. They took a lot from Chinese mythology. They took a lot from, obviously, the Regius poem or the Halliwell manuscript. Uh, but it's not as though, Freemasonry ultimately, what it derives from is stonemasonry guilds, not the Essenes or anything to that extent. Randall Colvin, I'm not going to give you a sign because we are being recorded. So I'm not going to do that, but I am going to say welcome. I'm not sure if you're a brother or not, but thank you for being here. I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button. I would say if you want to learn the formation of, um, again, Freemasonry and where it started, I think the best place to start is the Regius manuscript or the Halliwell manuscript. Um, which again dates to 1390. I always pick the start date of Freemasonry as 1717, June 24th, 1717, the feast of St. John the Baptist, because it's a simple and easy date to go with. That's not to say there wasn't examples of speculative Freemasonry before that time. In 1623, I think it was. I get these dates all messed up. The first Freemason Scotland year. So Lodge of Edinburgh was 1599, but the first speculative Freemason 1634. I was close. 1634 in Mary's Chapel. However, again, I think the easiest way to go is to say 1717, June 24th, 1717. And the first Grand Master being Anthony Sayer. So that's what I would go with myself. I'm sure the true story sounds far more interesting. Part of me would like to think that the more interesting story is correct. Look, there's nothing wrong with taking the interesting stories from Masonic history and applying them in a metaphorical sense. Like, certainly the idea of Freemasonry as being derived from ancient Egypt, I don't believe there's a direct lineage. However, I do believe that we can take lessons from stonemasonry, its timelessness, including the stonemasons of ancient Egypt and the geometric works of Euclid. Well, I've never heard that before, but that sounds really interesting. Um, I do not know what the etymology is of the Scottish name. Um, so, according to this, the etymology of Scottish originates from Scoti, the Latin name for the Gaels, first used by Roman writers. This term initially referred to Gaels in Ireland and later those in Scotland. So, I've not heard your example before. Okay, so where have you done any digs or because I've actually had the vintage Egyptologist on my podcast before, but that's really cool. I love archaeology. Because I took anthropology in school actually in undergrad. I did an archaeological dig in Lauder, Manitoba, which was an absolute blast. Um, it was my one and only archaeological dig. Go Gobekli Temple. Okay, I've talked about Gobekli Temple a little bit. Again, as a Freemason, I'm always fascinated by any examples of stone architecture, stonework, or stone masonry, especially historical stone masonry. So that's really, really cool. What are some of your favorite things that you've discovered while on your archaeological digs? Well, in that case, you're a lot smarter than me because I know English and I know bad English. So the fact that the fact that you are a trained translator in cuneiform and Sanskrit is very impressive. So when did the first Egyptians, based on what you understand, make their way to Scotland? Because I understand, obviously, when I think of kind of Mediterranean contact with Britain, I tend to think of Julius Caesar when he went over there in what was it, 30? I forget when it was that he went over there now, to be honest. 55, 54, and then obviously Claudius, and then Hadrian with Hadrian's Wall, Antonius Pius. I'm not sure. I'm curious. Let me just look this up on. Let me look this up on or in Interesting. So the Skota myth, a medieval legend posits that Skota, the daughter of an Egyptian pharaoh, is the mythological ancestress of the Scottish people. While historians consider this a myth, it is a significant story in Scottish folklore. So apparently, most people, I guess, consider it to be a myth. Cool. Do you post about any of this stuff on your YouTube channels or do you have like social media where you post some of this stuff? If so, I'd love to check it out. Right now, I'm skeptical of these claims, but that doesn't mean I could be incorrect. I'd love to learn more if you have any info. And as always, to anybody watching this, please take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know how it's going if there's anything that you want to talk about. Interesting. So this is from Wikipedia, actually. So in medieval Irish and Scottish legend, Scota is the daughter of an Egyptian pharaoh and ancestor of the Gaels. She is said to be the origin of the Latin name Scoti, but historians say she and her alleged ancestors and spouses were purely mythological and created to explain the name to fit the Gaels into a historic narrative. I mean, I gotta be honest with you, Susie, I tend to be pretty, um, what's the word? Pretty uh, skeptical of alternative archaeologists myself as someone who studied archaeology in undergrad, but that's not to say I'm not interested. So it looks like Scota appears in the Irish Chronicle Book of Leinster in a redaction of the, I can't read that to save my life. Looks like the earliest mention of Scota was in the 12th century or thereabouts. By the way, welcome. If you are just joining us, please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, Susie, I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button. I mean, do you have Facebook or anything? Like, what's some of your socials? I know you said your site was censored. Is that your personal YouTube stuff as well, or sorry, personal socials also? Do you post any of this on social media outside of here? No, it happens. It's hard to type, man. It's hard to type quickly. Believe me, don't worry. I know as someone who spends a lot of time typing, these things are very possible. And also, let me know how you came across this stream. Were you searching for Freemasonry? Did YouTube recommend me? How did you come across me? I'm always curious to know. But I hope you'll check out some of the stuff I've written. If you go to my Medium channel, you see my interview with um, the vintage archaeologist. Well, I don't think you're going to be a fan of me, Susie, because I, when you say COVID BS, I'm somebody who's a firm believer in things like getting yourself vaccinated, um, not just for COVID, but I believe in vaccinations in general. Um, Social distancing, whatever it is, you have responsibility to keep yourself healthy and also do what you can to potentially um, keep others healthy as well, right? And I speak for myself exclusively. I don't speak for anybody else, but I think as a Freemason, one of my responsibilities is to do what is necessary to keep both myself healthy and those around me healthy. That doesn't just mean, by any means, it doesn't just mean vaccinations. That means exercise. That means trying to eat well, drink enough water, etc., etc. Take medication if prescribed by my doctor, whatever it might be. I'm not saying I'm also mental health as well as physical health. That's not to say I'm perfect with any of that stuff. I'm trying to get better at eating well, though that's probably the area where I'm the worst. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to do what's right for whatever it's worth. I'm sure I'm going to have many issues, but I don't believe they'll be caused by my getting the vaccines, whether it be COVID or otherwise. Um, I'm sure the issues will be of my own doing, though. But so far, no issues. I mean, I got my first COVID vaccine, I don't remember when, relatively early. I think it would have been 2021, something like that. Actually, I wonder. I'm curious now if I can look on my social media because I think I might be able to know when I got my first vaccination for COVID. Always my first vaccinations were when I was I don't remember them. There was when I was a wee lad. My parents got them for me, obviously. But let's see. I'm kind of curious. I remember having to wait in line. It was like raining, so we all had to be like 6 feet apart or whatever it was in the line. So it was kind of a pain. Let's see. Looks like the most recent was 2024. I got the COVID vax. Um, May 2021 looks like is when I got my first one. It's crazy to think how long it's been. I hope everybody is doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. We got Susie Wheeler in the chat. Was telling me about some of her ideas on alternative history, particularly Egyptian contact with Scotland, well before, I guess, the official date historically. We got Mark on the stream. Welcome, Mark. I think you might be new to the chat. Is that a cat in your? I can't. It's too small. Is that a cat in your? If so, I love cats. When you say vaccines are a human thing, research, do you mean vaccines are done for human research? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I've got. I don't know if I've got every vaccine, but I'm proud of getting myself vaccinated and making sure when I travel, for example, I get travel vaccines, whatever it might be. Because again, it's not just about me. My personal view has always been, and this is again me speaking for myself exclusively, which is, I always suspected that if I were to have contracted COVID, I would probably be okay. I felt I was healthy enough that I probably would have been able to survive it. I didn't want to. You never want to get sick. But I got it more because I wanted to be able to say that I did as much as I could to combat the disease, not just for me, but more for those around me. Yeah, we probably aren't of the same mind, Susie, which is okay. If we were all of the same mind, it would be boring, I suppose. At least these streams would be boring. Um, I mean, obviously, part of vaccines do involve research. So I'm not really sure what you mean by that, Mark. If you could expand, feel free. And thank you for being here. Well, I mean, so again, I'm not a doctor. Let me make that very clear. I do what the doctors tell me, but I'm not myself a doctor. I do what my doctor tells me, anyways, or I try to do what my doctor tells me. I mean, so I don't know enough about natural immunity. My issue with during COVID with the idea of natural immunity was always that people could just say they got sick without any proof as a way to avoid getting vaccinated, right? It's better as a safety precaution to just give everybody the vaccine than start trying to figure out who does and who doesn't have natural immunity, who actually had COVID versus another illness. You don't have to start testing people's blood for natural antibodies or whatever it is. To me, sometimes the simplest way is to just take the blanket approach and give everybody the vaccine, as opposed to taking the time to test or take people at their word. As someone who sometimes questions the authenticity of people, I'm not sure if everybody who said they had natural immunity or said they had COVID would have been telling the truth. And plus, how could you know? I know plenty of people who got ill during the COVID pandemic but never got tested, and they have no idea whether they had COVID or the flu or a cold or allergies or whatever it might be, right? So at least that was always my understanding and assumption as to why they focused so much on getting everybody vaccinated, just as an efficiency matter. I do think, and I've argued this before, it's important to not just think about one thing. It's important to think about vaccinations as well as healthy diet, as well as getting enough water, as well as exercise. All that stuff matters. But yeah, and this is speaking for me personally, though I do believe this is a Masonic ideal. Not every Mason agrees with me. Um, I'm a firm believer that everybody should, if you're able to, should get vaccinated. There's a lot of Well, I mean, I got vaccinated for polio, I believe. I mean, I whatever vaccines you're supposed to have as a kid, I know my parents gave me, or went to the doctors to get. Since then, I've got the vaccines that are necessary. The one vaccine I haven't gotten yet, and I really want to get it at some point, is tetanus. I don't know when the last tetanus shot I had was, so I should probably get that updated. I'm going to talk to my doctor about that because I wheel around. I'm in a wheelchair, so I'm always wheeling. It's very easy for pieces of metal or stuff to, from a wheel to kind of pick them up as it's going, and I come in contact with it. So that's on my list. But yeah, this is I don't know, a pro-vaccine stream, or at least I am a pro-vaccine individual. You can take that for what it's worth. But thank you for being here, Mark. I think you're new to the stream, right? Uh, Please hit the like and subscribe button. We're here to chat about Freemasonry, although on these 1 a.m. streams, really, I just chat about anything that people want to talk about. I don't really have any specific topics. Whereas my 1 p.m. streams, I usually have more specific topics that I like to discuss. Interestingly enough, and to kind of bring this through to Freemasonry, Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a Freemason and also suffered from polio. And they say that the fact he had polio is one thing that gave him empathy for those who were suffering around the world who did not have access to the same medical care that he did. On a cool little note. Um, and many Masonic buildings, because in many locations, in many small town communities, they were the exclusive meeting site, which could hold large numbers of people. They often were used as vaccination clinics, including actually the Windsor Masonic Temple. At different parts in history, was used as vaccination clinics for tuberculosis vaccines, I believe, polio vaccines. How do you know we aren't messed up? Well, I guess I don't know. I can tell you I don't feel messed up. You can take that for whatever it's worth. I mean, but whether we had vaccines or not, I wouldn't know whether we're not messed up by any number of things. Whether it's, I guess messed up is a pretty broad term, so I'm not really sure how to respond to that. What I'll say is I don't feel or believe as though I'm messed up. I mean, and if I am, then I'm sure it's because I'm my own. It's my own mess ups, and not thanks to any vaccines. But I guess I wouldn't know what you mean by that. How do you know we aren't messed up? I guess what I have to do is have some type of ability to explore the inner workings of humans and compare them before and after vaccines. The fact that we have less polio, the fact that we have no more smallpox, the fact that we have reductions in things like, hepatitis A and B, all of those things, the fact that COVID no longer seems to be, knock on wood, an issue the way it was. Again, knock on wood, I'm not a doctor, but it seems that COVID is no longer causing the problems it did before. That tells me that we're probably not on the messed up phase. I'm very happy that I do not have to spend my life worrying about getting smallpox, for example. That makes me happy. Or measles. That makes me happy as well. Or polio, for that matter, right? I'd rather not deal with those things if it's all the same. Welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. If you do get the chance to hit the like and subscribe button, I would appreciate it. I hope everybody's having a great night. I do these streams every Monday through Friday at both 1 p.m. and then 1 a.m. I also have a stream this weekend at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to watch a movie, so I hope you guys can join me for that. I think I'm going to read this comment from the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of the state of New York now. This was published today, September 11th, 2025. A message from the Grand Master of New York for public distribution on the anniversary of 9/11. My brothers, each year, September 11th returns to us not as a date on the calendar, but as a solemn reminder of sacrifice, unity, and resilience. We remember those who perished in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania. We honor the brave first responders who charged into danger without hesitation, and we recall the spirit of brotherhood that rose from the ashes of destruction. That day, we learned again that light can shine even the deepest darkness. Actually, on that topic, I learned today that Freemasons in New York received over $3 million in donations after 9/11, which was used to support widows, orphans, basically help anybody who either was lost or injured through 9/11, specifically first responders. Today, we are also confronted with another painful reality: the violence that has claimed the life of Charlie Kirk, a man struck down for his opinions, regardless of whether we agreed or disagreed with him. Such an act reminds us of the fragility of life and the dangers of hatred when it is allowed to harden into violence. As Masons, we are called to a higher standard. We are builders of peace, harmony, and understanding in a world too often divided by fear and anger. We are taught to meet our brothers and our neighbors upon the level, to act with justice upon the square, and to walk uprightly before God and man. In these moments of sorrow and reflection, we must live those lessons all the more. Let us resolve that the memory of 9/11 and the tragedy of senseless violence will not make us bitter, but will call us to labor more earnestly as peacemakers. Let us extend charity to the grieving, strength to the weary, and brotherly love to all who cross our path. For if there is one truth that time and trial cannot erase, it is this: hatred may destroy, but only love can build, and we as Masons are builders. May God bless our departed, comfort the brokenhearted, and guide us in the paths of light. With kind brotherly love, I remain your Grand Master. I mean, I know a lot of people feel that way. I definitely did not. I was very grateful when the COVID vaccine came out. Um, Both grateful for the fact that we had the vaccine and grateful for all the people who put all the work into it. I mean, I'm sure it was a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of people who spent a lot of time getting education, going through school, learning how to create these things. Again, I'm not a scientist. I could not create a vaccine to save my life, even if I needed to save my life. And I have nothing but respect for the people who dedicate themselves to that. Well, I mean, I got the COVID booster. I don't know. I got 4 COVID boosters, I think 4 or 5. I'm not glowing green yet. Welcome, James Dolan. Thank you for being here. If you're new to this stream, I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button. And thank you for joining. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry or anything you want to talk about. I do these streams 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. I think you're new to the stream, James. I don't think I've seen you on here before. If that's not the case, then it's great to have you back. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for the people who dedicate themselves. Well, then, James, you and I are on the same page. Again, I speak for myself. I do believe that if you take the teachings or interpret the teachings of, or not even teachings, if you interpret Masonic ritual the way I interpret Masonic ritual, everybody should get the vaccine. However, I understand other people have different interpretations. Okay, James, good for you. I mean, yeah, I do as well. And it's not even about myself. Again, I believe that I'm healthy enough I believe I'm healthy enough to handle COVID. If I were to ever get it, I hope I never do, or handle the flu. It's more about protecting others, especially a lot of older Masons who may be immunocompromised, who are of an older age, who may be more at risk for complications. Well, James, I hope you hit the like and subscribe button. I've been a Freemason since 2007 in Ontario. I don't know everything about Freemasonry by any means, but I like to think at least my experiences count for something. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer them as best I can. But I also do these streams at 1 p.m. So I'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. If you're subscribed, you follow me on YouTube, you'll find my 1 p.m. stream, which maybe we can talk for longer then as well. You can also find me through Patreon, etc., etc. There's a lot of different places you can find me at. United Kingdom. So what time is it for you right now? You're like 6 hours ahead, right? 7 a.m. Well, it's not like when you say how easy is it to join, it's certainly not physically challenging to join. Um, from a time perspective, like how long it takes to join, it's really going to depend on the lodge itself and if they are a busy lodge and have a lot of people applying to join. But right now, the numbers are kind of declining. So my suspicion is most lodges, they don't have a ton of people knocking down the door. Again, applications seem to be declining as a general rule. Really, though, it's not challenging physically, or it's not hard to join physically. It's not a time commitment that's too long. Really, here's what I'll say. Starting the process is incredibly easy. What you do is you find the Masonic body or lodge that is closest to you, and you get in touch with them. You send them an email, you can knock on the door, you can write them a letter. I got in touch with my Masonic lodge by writing them a letter, and they respond to you. And then you go from there to meet them. And at the start, you don't think about it in terms of wanting to join. Just think of it and wanting to get more information. Talk to the members about, why you want to join, what makes you interested in Freemasonry, what some of your thoughts are, and let the members get to know you. Let them ask you questions about Freemasonry, or not about Freemasonry, but about your life, why you want to join, maybe any skills you have that could be applicable to the lodge. Like if you are, for example, into website design, maybe you can help the lodge with its website. And you kind of go from there. After that, there's usually an investigation committee which reports back whether it's positive or negative in terms of what they think about your ability to join. For example, do you believe in a supreme being? Do you understand, when the lodge meets? You're 40, so you're of the correct age. Are you joining because of a genuine interest in Freemasonry? They get to know you and maybe your family as well. If you have a family, if you don't, they get to know you. And you get to know them as well. Then they bring the report back to lodge. They have a vote on lodge. If the vote is favorable, they contact you with the date of your initiation. So there you go. So you believe in a supreme being. You don't need to be Christian to join Freemasonry. We have Masons who are Muslim, Jewish, original peoples, Hindu, Sikh, but certainly Christian would count. Your 40s, I believe the age to join in the United Kingdom is 21. In many places in America, it's 18, but I believe, so you're well over the age. And then it's just talking about why you want to join, getting to know them, getting to know the members, and you go from there. But the first step is very easy. To be one, ask one. Get in touch with them, contact them, and let them know you're interested. And then it's how busy the lodge is versus not, how busy the lodge is, how much time they have to dedicate to new members, etc., etc. But joining is easy. Being a Mason is hard because you got to give some. You have to be willing to dedicate. I mean, I think you need to be willing to dedicate a level of time and energy to it. There's memorization work. But that's once you've already joined. Getting through the door is relatively easy. Well, I appreciate that, James. What part of the United Kingdom are you from, if you don't mind my asking? My dad's from Northern England, so. I'd be curious where you're from there. And like I said, James, I do hope you'll be so kind as hit the like button and the subscribe button. Okay, so my pops is from Northern England, so you're kind of opposite ends of the country, not the islands so much, right? Because there's obviously Wales and Scotland, but opposite ends of the country of England. Like I said, James, I hope you'll hit the like button. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Check out some of my other content by all means. Um, and yeah, I hope you're doing well and having a good morning, I guess it would be. We're just getting a bit of time to see who else joins. These 1 a.m. streams, I really just talk about anything. Um, well, that's an interesting question, James. What can you learn in Freemasonry? There's two answers to that, right? We are in Freemasonry actually called upon to make a daily advancement in Masonic knowledge. The extent to which people do make that daily advancement is up to them, but we are asked to make a daily advancement in Masonic knowledge. We're also asked to study the liberal arts and sciences, including geometry, which is considered the basis of at least operative Freemasonry, if nothing else. There's kind of two types of things you can learn. The first is knowledge specific to Freemasonry. You learn the Masonic rituals, the words that go into them. And that stuff, you learn what, for example, the senior steward of the lodge does. You learn what the worshipful master does. You learn how to open and close a lodge within the Masonic ritual. But that's all stuff that's very specific to Freemasonry. It's kind of like if I were to compare Freemasonry to football, learning the ritual in Freemasonry is like learning the playbook in football. Um, it's something that's applicable to you as a football player, but not applicable outside of the game. However, the second set of things that you learn within Freemasonry, which is applicable outside of the lodge, is you learn things like how to be a leader in terms of how to be a worshipful master and lead a lodge, how to run Masonic meetings, and meetings outside of it. What are the Robert's Rules of Order? You learn memorization skills, you learn public speaking skills. And those are applicable skills outside of lodge. In the same way, if you're a football player, you have your playbook, which is like your ritual. It's esoteric knowledge that helps you within your team. But then there is, you learn, teamwork, physical fitness, dedication, discipline, health, how to work within a group, how to take orders, or how to be coachable. And that's all stuff that's applicable both within and without your Masonic lodge. Discipline, right? Learning itself is a skill. Absolutely. Welcome, Gareth. Thank you for being here. Commitment, dedication, and discipline. Those are things, if you dedicate yourself to anything, those are things that you learn. Gareth, but how are you doing? It's good to have you back. I feel like it's been a little while since I've seen you on stream. And we got the hearts. That's usually a sign that Smokey the Clown is in the building. By the way, Gareth, James, just so you know, on September 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to start my 24-hour live stream. I hope you guys will join. I hope that you will share the stream with others. I'm going to be gifting Patreon memberships for 1 month for free. Every couple of hours during that stream. So I guess I do it 12 times. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So Gareth, I hope you'll join me for this one. It'd be wonderful to have you back. Well, I mean, I'm always happy when you join anytime, but the 24-hour live stream especially will be a lot of fun. I've actually got a few things coming up on the 14th. So this weekend, it's going to be me and my friend Worship Brother Igor Strukin. We're going to be doing a movie watch along on Tubi. On the 20th, it's going to be a Insta Live at 3 p.m. On the 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern to the 22nd at 2 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be a 24-hour live stream. And that's starting on a Sunday at 2 p.m. So Sunday, hopefully nobody's working. Hopefully you guys can catch some of that at the start. And then actually on the 19th of September, I just signed up for Medium Day. I have a lot of stuff about Freemasonry in written form, and I'm going to be checking that out and live streaming about it or live tweeting about it throughout the day. So that should be a lot of fun as well. Yes, and the 29th for me and Smokey doing a live stream together, which should be a lot of fun as well. Again, that's my personal YouTube channel. YouTube.com/@CameronAdamson. When I've done this, honestly, I may go on that stream just for a couple on that channel just for a couple of minutes, just for fun, just to again try something new and try something different. And by the way, if you guys want to suggest some topics for me, please do so. Normally, when it comes to topics, the first place I go is my Patreons. I know Smokey is a Patreon, and I don't know. Did you vote on the? I know you voted on the poll about Freemason relevance. Did you vote on which movie you want me to watch on the 14th? If you didn't, please do so. Go back to Patreon and find that poll and vote on which movie. Because right now, there's 4 votes, all the same. So, right now it's 25% each. If I don't get somebody else voting on this, I will I'll be the tiebreaker. Well, then we need somebody else. Gareth, become a Patreon just so you can vote on that poll question. Otherwise, like I said, it's going to be I'm going to be the tiebreaker, and I don't want to be the tiebreaker. It is free, so since it's completely free, there's no reason not to do it. I hope everybody is doing well, by the way. Thank you for joining. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. On my dinner question, I don't know if I saw that now. Let me double check. I saw the answer you gave on the relevance question. I very much appreciated it. Let's see. Notifications. Those are both great Those are both great topics. You're absolutely right, James. The history of Freemasonry is something I'm going to discuss during the 24-hour live stream. Oh, yes, I saw that. Yes, I appreciated that comment. And there you go. You know, three Freemasons to have dinner with, so it works out perfectly. Because there's a lot of history to Freemasonry, so that would probably take 24 hours in and of itself, to be honest. Yes, I think I gave it a heart, to be honest, because I did like the comment very much. And I would love to have dinner with you, Smokey, so maybe one day. And how can Masonry help society of the future? Another really good point. The first way it can help society of the future is absolutely through being relevant, which I already talked about in my last stream. Well, I mean, it'll be easy too for you because you've had to cook dinner for hundreds of people at a time, or at least dozens and dozens of people at a time. So for one person, hopefully it'll be a little bit easier for you. We're gonna give it a bit more time to see who else joins. This 1 a.m. stream, again, it's just me hanging out, chatting, nothing specific to talk about. The 1 p.m. stream tomorrow is another Ask Us Anything because it's on a Friday, but then we switch to we'll switch to on Sunday we have our movie, and then Monday we're back with another topic. I've got a few ideas, so I'll let you guys know what it's going to be closer to. So if you can do that, then Smoke, you can definitely cook for me, and I definitely do not need $43,000 worth of food. I'm sure it was absolutely delicious. I'm so happy, Earl. Uh, did I say that? When did I say that? When I hear the name Earl, I think of My Name is Earl, which was a great movie. Great movie, sorry, great TV show. I really enjoyed it. So you got the autocorrect. I mean, I agree. It can be very annoying very quickly. Just sending some messages to some people, hanging out. Like I said, I'm gonna end this stream soon. I may go on my other stream just for fun, just for a couple minutes, just to say hello. So I enjoy, and I'm curious to see what happens because I haven't done a stream on the Cameron Adamson YouTube channel for a fair bit of time. So um, I'm not sure. Sometimes I find when you haven't done it for a while, you jump back on, you get a lot of people showing up. So I think I did one thing briefly. It was a short. It was actually a couple of shorts, but no actual live streams. I actually probably won't do that tonight, honestly, because I'm pooped. But I may do that this weekend if I get the chance. And by the way, it's crazy to think how close we are to Halloween. Halloween being my favorite holiday. I cannot wait to celebrate it. I'm gonna be watching a lot of scary movies. I always do a Good Witch marathon as well, so I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna give this another, let's say 5, 10 minutes, then I'll be ending the stream. Like I said, I will be back tomorrow though. Or I guess today, technically 1 p.m. which will be a blast as always. Thank you everybody for being here, and I hope everybody's having a great night. Smart man, Smokey. If anybody's fan of Halloween, then I know we're gonna get along great. Absolutely. I would 100% agree with that. We do. It seems like we got a lot in common. So we're clearly both very smart people. Great minds think alike, but great minds think alike, but fools seldom differ. So we need to keep that in mind as well. Just gonna give it a few more minutes. We'll see who else joins. Just waiting to see if anyone else jumps in to say hello. Shoot, ask the question. Can't promise I'll be able to answer it, but I will do my best. I don't know enough about rap to say, to be honest. I'm gonna have to give a, you know, give a lazy answer. I mean, I can tell you, of the two of them, I prefer Tupac, but I don't really know how well they battle rap. So that's really tough because I have no actual idea who's done more battle rapping. It'd be fun to hear to what's I'm looking for. I mean, it'd be really interesting to see it, but I mean, Tupac is who I prefer to listen to, so I'm gonna go Tupac. It would be. You're absolutely right. Who's your favorite rapper of all time, Smoke? If you had to pick one. They can all be good, right? They can all be good. I don't think so. I mean, honestly, probably because I feel like I mean, the name sounds super familiar. I bet you if I heard some of the singles, I would definitely recognize it. I would be willing to bet, anyways. We're just gonna give it another couple minutes. Like I said, this is me just hanging out, chatting. No specific topics. I'll be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. with some more specific, actual topics about Freemasonry. Or actually, tomorrow's gonna be another general kind of hangout stream. It does, but I can't think of from where. I can't think of which song. I mean, I know Nas. I can't think of any of the songs on top of my head, but I like Nas. Like my favorite rapper is probably if I had to pick Jay-Z, if I had to pick. But I enjoy rap and I mean I like I said, music without music, life would be a mistake. And I truly do believe that. All right, let's give it another, let's say 10 minutes and then we will, or maybe just 5 minutes, then call the stream. I wonder if there's any Freemasons or rappers. Well, I know there's a couple, but like any particularly like really, really big ones. I mean, I love Eminem though. I will say that for a long time, Eminem was probably my favorite song, to be honest. But for now, it's Jay-Z. Alonzo, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. I was about to just jump off the stream, but since you're here, I'll give it a couple more minutes. If you want to let me know how you're doing. And by the way, I hope you'll join me tomorrow, or I guess today, technically 1 p.m. This weekend as well, 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Um, I prefer Jay-Z to Eminem, but I really like Eminem. Stan is, when I was a probation officer, I used Stan a lot as a teaching tool because it was a great example of how people can fall into dangerous patterns and dangerous behaviors and what to look for and recognize. And that song really lays out well how it is that those things take place and happen. Um, I would say for me, it's Stan. Different tastes indeed. All right, guys, thank you all for being here. I think I'm going to end this stream. But like I said, I'll be back at 1 p.m. And then this weekend, I've got a stream I'll be doing with my friend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Please, in the meantime, if you are just joining us, take a moment, hit the like and subscribe button. And I'll see everybody again soon. All right, talk to y'all later. Smokey, Alonzo, be back soon.